warm welcome to
Thanks everyone for coming here today. I wasn't expecting such a large crowd, and I don't have a microphone, so I hope you guys can hear me at the back. My name is Tina. A little bit about me. I'm the head of data analytics at Meshy, which is an AI company that builds 3D AI models, and we are actually one of the globally the most popular 3D AI tools among game developers. I started my career as a data analyst intern about 8 years ago. Of course, along the way, I go from an intern to BI analyst to senior BI analyst to manager to like building a team all the way to the head of data analytics. And I also serve at various startups and Stripe in my past experiences. Like many of international students, I went through CPT, OPT, H-1B sponsorship. And today, I'm the sole data professional at my company, building both data infrastructure and business analytics. Oh, by the way, I'm currently building a team. So recently sent out 2 offers and still having additional opening for both full-time and intern. We do sponsor. So send me if you're interested. That's my LinkedIn. I will put at the end as well. I know lots of people are looking for this. So going to agenda. I'm pretty sure you have lots of questions. Like lots of people tell you internships are very important, which I do agree. So let's look into why they are important. Leveraging college resources. If you're currently on campus, there are lots of resources that every college do offer, most of them, and how to leverage them. What resources do you look for? Mastering the job application process. Crafting a resume. Prepare for your interview. Secure sponsorship. And finally, 4 key takeaways. And the last but not least, the Q&A session. So if you have any questions, I'll make sure to save some time at the end. First one, why internship matters. Background, I interned nonstop throughout my 4 year in college from freshman year. I did part-time during school year and full-time during summer. And even crazy, for winter breaks, which is only like 2 to 3 weeks, I did externship. They don't call it internship, they call it externship. It's a 7-day program. So I just went crazy to go on every single real life experience I can go look for. Why did I do that? Because it helped me to expose earlier. So expose earlier throughout this resume, interview, job application, building network. The earlier you expose, the more tolerant people will be. So if you are just freshman in college, you can do whatever mistake you do, and the employer will be like, okay, that's what I expect from a freshman in college. So you will have lots of chance to learn. And of course, if you behave like you are a sophomore, then you're good, right? So try to expose as early as possible. My first internship was freshman year. It wasn't like real data related, it just get me in the industry. I remember they told me to search on the internet for some icons and do some manual filtering. It's not really data, but it got me into the industry. Second one, it helped me to confirm your passion. It helped me to confirm my passion. So what you study in the college and what you experience in in everyday at work are different. For example, I thought I like consulting. I did a bunch of case computations. I stayed all-nighters for those computations. I went like first, second place. But eventually I find out I did an externship at Cornerstone Research, and I find out that's not I don't really like working as a consultant. For various reasons, you can ask me later. But maybe consulting is for you. Not everyone is different, right? So internship help you to confirm whether this is real job for you. You talk with the professionals, you talk with the people, you watch what they do day to day, you see that whether that's for you, confirming your passion is very important. And then lastly, networking is very important. You get an internship, you network, you know more people, you potentially work very hard and get a return offer. Those are like early start to a career, easy start to a career if you get a return offer. You don't need to be stressed in your 4th year. The second one, leveraging college resources. Every college should have a career center. They offer resume tips. They offer mock interviews. They offer various workshops and career fairs. Make sure you attend those as many as possible. Of course, have to say some of them are not as helpful. or like some of them are not as professional as like the real ones you're going to get once you go into the field, but those are enough to get you started. So some of them do repeat, but take notes, talk with other professionals, talk with the network is very important. Student clubs. It doesn't matter you are the vice president or you're the president or you are just a member. Make sure you attend those student clubs and like help them like recruit, help them like find sponsorship, organize events, weekly meetings, all those stuff. Like those will help you to lay the foundation for team building, leadership, and strategic thinking. I was the VP of 2 student clubs back at UCLA, and those helped me to learn about, okay, how do I organize weekly meetings? How do I do public speaking? How do I solve conflict when there's like arguments? And how do I find sponsor? How do I do fundraising? A lot of things you get to learn at a real life scenario as a student. Programs. There are lots of programs that help you connect to business. For example, I was from UCLA. There is a program called Sharp Fellows. It helps you connect with business and guarantee you, at least for my year, guarantee you to put like above 90%, almost 100% of us into an internship. So like they help you to craft your resume, interviews. They help you to pair up. They help you to connect to business. They help you to give you interview experience, interview opportunities. So those programs probably you need to prepare to get in. Like you need to do interviews. They pick students to get into those programs, but it does pay off. For example, my internship and my 3rd year go all the way to my 4th year, and eventually give me a return offer and sponsor me. So like find programs that can help you connect with the professionals or even help you find an internship. And then mentors. Seek guidance from the mentor is very important. The mentor can be college professors. I do know some professors, they very active in academic or professional field. You can talk with them for advice. Where do you want to go to? How you want to go there? How to edit your resume? What to put on your resume? What to talk about in interview? Some professors do offer that. For example, UCLA also have a program called UCLA Wang. That is when like people like me will just say, hey, I can take some mentees, and if you are a UCLA student or alumni, it's free mentorship, and you can just connect with the mentor and then ask questions. So look out for some like alumni experiences, alumni opportunities in your school. Networking is the most important. Networking sessions like this, or like career fair and stuff, because like if I post a job about data analysis or data science right now, within a week I get like hundreds of thousands of resumes. It's not humanly possible to go through all of them. So it's very important to network and then send me your resume so that I get to stand out from the crowd. Because like I don't read even half of the resumes. It's just not, and I think most hiring managers do that. So like connect with the real human, especially this is your first job, is very important. It helped me land in most of my job. When you build the connections, people know you're good, people work with you before, and then headhunter work with me before, and they will, when I'm looking for a job, they will just come to me or offer opportunities, at least for interviews. And then if you're in college, friends is very important. Friends that are in the same major, looking into the same industry. You guys can prepare together. You guys can share resources to each other, the companies that you all apply to, and then you encourage each other. Because I know nowadays it's not easy to find a data job. You probably apply to hundreds and didn't hear back from any. So at the time, you do encourage each other. Look, the other person is the same. It's not, everyone cannot find, so it's probably not as discouraging. Or alternatively, they find something and then share some advice with you, right? So find some friends, get each other supported. Okay, mastering the job application process. First, I would encourage you to create a tracker. We are data folks, so pull up your spreadsheet or your Excel, put down all the things you want to track. Like I will do each role is a different job opportunity. You list their company names, the title, the pay, the location, the job descriptions, that's JD, and the link to the position. And then you have that one role for, you have different columns that you care for, but like each role is one opportunity, and you track the date that you apply, and you track the date that they get back to you. So one thing is, why do I put job description? Because if I put the link should have everything, right? Because sometimes and when you apply 1 month later, you're still in the interview process. You have 10 other interviews, and then they remove this post because they have too many people in the pipeline, or they don't have time to receive new resumes. They just remove it, and you go into interview, you forgot what they are looking for, right? So I will just copy paste the whole thing into a small Excel and shrink it, and then you double click next time. It's a stupid format, but you will get the content of what they are looking for, and that's very important going to interview. And then you get to track how many positions you apply to, and you get to track how many, what's the conversion stage, right? So let's say I apply to 100 applicants, I submit 100 applications, I haven't heard back from any of them, one of them, then think of something, like it's probably the resume, right? Like you submit the same resume or same kind of resume, and then you don't hear back from any. Probably like sometimes it's just chance opportunity, but if you submit 100 or 200 and you don't hear back, something is wrong. So you need to track the conversion. And then once you can get the interview, if you're not moving to the second round, then the recruiter interview is what you need to look for. And then the hiring manager interview, the stakeholder, the final round. So you need to track your conversion rate and see where did I stuck. And that's where you want to put the most time and resource in. Set a goal. Make the goal realistic. If, let's say, application to interview rate is 10%, and then every 10 interview, like I'm talking about, like if you start interview, like the recruiter, the hiring manager, the HR interview is the first one, and then the final one is the offer. In between that, let's say that's 10% conversion. Yours can be higher or lower. Track your own conversion rate. But let's say it's 10% and 10%. So that means you need about 100 applicants to get one offer. So if you submit 100 and didn't hear back or didn't get an offer or anything, look into conversion rate. Another thing is also, don't be discouraged. We already worked out the math. If the math telling you that you need to submit 100 or 200 or even 1,000 to get an offer, then that is what it is. And I admit that if this is your first time finding a job, you don't have anything in your resume, or if you're a new grad, the conversion rate could be much lower. So be prepared to submit a lot before you hear back. Some process can take longer, and that's probably not your issue, because sometimes, let's say right now, I just send out 2 offers to my analytics engineers. The job is still online because I don't know whether they will eventually come in, right? They will take 2 to 3 weeks to come in. So I still have the job just in case those people didn't join me eventually, then I will go back to my pipeline. But I'm not actively reviewing. So if you submit into the pipeline right now, don't be discouraged, because there are lots of chance when hiring managers are not actively reviewing. So your conversion rate should account for that, probably more than half of that, like that. And another thing is because of that, apply to positions that are posted recently. I normally, because there are so many data roles and there are so many remote roles, you don't need to relocate for those opportunities. I only look for positions that applied within 24 hours, because there are so many. Within 24 hours, I normally can find 7 or 8 of them each day. Depends on your situation. Probably entry level could be harder. Probably if you need sponsor, could be harder. I will try to exhaust the ones that applied, that's posted recently. That's when hiring manager, like you are frontline in that application, and hiring manager will have there's more opportunity that your resume get reviewed. I will never apply to something who is posted a month ago, for example, because that just like by very low chance that probably I already go through one people to the final round. And the only chance is that final person didn't accept the offer and stuff, I will go back to the pipeline. And most likely I have a healthy pipeline that I have people taking the second round. I'm not going to very beginning to review resume. So apply to things that's posted so long ago, it's not going to be really helpful. And I find out that from my tracker. When I see my tracker is that I find we are analyzing data, right? So you see the trackers, like all the things that reply to me are when they posted recently. And when on LinkedIn there is number of applicants. When I'm the first few number of applicants, then the chance is much higher. So look for your own pattern. Just do your tracker. That's your data. Analyze your own data. And then last thing on this page is reach out to the hiring manager. If, like, let's say Meshy is hiring for data analyst, find who is the manager of data analyst, director of data analyst, senior director, or head of. One of them must be a hiring manager, right? So take your guess, or just send me a message saying, hey, help me connect say nicer than this, but like help me connect to the hiring manager, right? So the chance is low, but I see that probably 10%, at least 10% of when I was a student, 10% of people do reply to my LinkedIn. I'm not expecting everyone to reply, but at least for myself, when I don't have all the time to screen the resume that's actually applied, I do look at people who send me a message. Because like I have friends, like I go to conference and they also send me LinkedIn message. I'm not going to ignore all those, right? So I do have, not regularly, but I do look at my LinkedIn and people do send. And of course, for some companies, we do have referral programs. So if you are looking for a software engineer, you look out to me, I see that's a good resume, I'll send to my colleague and they will review further. Anyways, just knock on the door. I think that's one of the way to get you stand out instead of just bunch submitting resumes. Crafting a standout resume. First, build your experience. You need a lot of work experience, internships. You need club leadership. You need projects. To all those experience, that's a good experience, or case competitions, or various events that you participate. Put into your resume. That's very important. Leave minimal white space. So I always think especially for new grads, our biggest shortcoming is we don't have enough experience, and you don't want your resume to show that. So if you have one line and the second line only have 2-3 words, try to delete that 2-3 words, or try to add in more to the end of the page. That way, your resume, when I look, the second half is not empty, right? You play with your format, but make sure your resume looks full when you take a quick look, right? How do you add in those words? Use your STAR method, which is situation, task, action, results. So basically, like I built a conversion dashboard. Why did I build a conversion dashboard? To increase the conversion because our conversion dropped, stuff like that. And then action, what did you do? I built a conversion dashboard using SQL or Tableau or dbt. What's the tool you're using, right? And then what's the results? What's the impact? It increased the conversion from 20% to 50%, or double the conversion rate. Like always include what exactly did you do, what method, what tools, and what result, what's the impact that you created. All those are very important. Job description. The job description is what the hiring managers say they want. So make sure what the hiring managers say what they want, don't just ignore. Because if you don't match, let's say I'm saying I want SQL, I want Python, I want dbt. If you don't have any of those, don't bother applying. It's not going to get you anywhere. In other words, if you have those experience, highlight them. So if I say I want dbt, if you have dbt experience, make sure you bold that 3 keywords, like dbt, right? So make sure you match. If I'm looking for A/B test and you happen to have A/B test experience, add in there somehow. For myself, I have a generic resume, like that's 2-3 page long, that include everything I can talk about. But in a real resume, just 1 page. So I look at the job description, I pick the keywords that they match. If they don't want A/B test, I'm not putting in there. But if they want, I'm going to put in there. So make sure, I'm not telling you to lie or like any things that you didn't have. But if you have it, make sure you add in the details. Include the relevant keywords. So if they are looking for SQL, Python, and dbt, don't just list it in the skill section, because everyone lists anything in skill section. They will put like C++, JavaScript, everything. And then on the interview, when you ask them, they were like, oh no, I don't know that. Then why are you putting your resume, right? So over time, I don't look at the skill section. The skill section is good for AI. So if AI is screening the keywords, I want my resume to pass the AI. So I'll put some like minor that I know a little bit there, just so that I pass the AI round. But the actual experience, the one that you are proud of, dbt, SQL, Python, make sure you put it in the main body. So I built this conversion dashboard using SQL, Python, dbt, and then XYZ. Include somehow in your main body. Then I know, okay, you build a concrete project using this. You know what is it, right? Bold a few keywords. Hiring manager spend roughly 6 seconds on each resume, because we receive like hundreds of thousands. This number really surprised me when I was a student, but it's pretty much true right now, because you just don't have that many time, even with the help of AI. You don't have that much time. So just put yourself in the shoe of a hiring manager. What are the things you can look for in that 6 seconds, right? So what I'm doing is left-hand side, I will look for some impactful words, things like lead, versus participate. If I participate in DataCon LA, everyone can participate. It's not a thing to put in a resume. But if you lead or spoke there or like a more stronger action words, put it there instead of participate. And then I look to the left, and then I look to the bottom or the top for education, and then I look to the right for the duration, if you already have recent. Like that's my key thing. That takes roughly 3 seconds. And then I look in the body of like, what are the keywords? Okay, you both SQL, Python, DBT, data analytics, schema. Okay, those are the keywords I'm looking for. Okay, you pass the first round. Then I'm going to take a deeper look, and then hopefully in the second round, I can see some good bullets. Then I'm reading sentence. And then if you pass that, then you are up for an interview, right? So, but please don't bold like a lot of sentence. Then it's the same as not bolding. Just bold the really short keywords. Lastly is AI tool. Make sure your resume is ATS compatible. Search online, what is it? Use AI tools to enhance or tailor. Well, I try to search some good ones. There are always good ones. So make sure you just do the research and see. But make sure whatever AI generates, you need to read through it. Because interviewer, when they read your resume, they are not going to say, okay, this is generated by AI. I'm not going to ask you questions. They are going to ask you every single question about your resume. So even though it's AI generated, make sure every sentence represents you, right? Make sure you read before you submit. Mastering the interview. So I break down to 3 stages. Before the interview, make sure you fully read through your resume. Again, every single word. Let's say you build a conversion dashboard. Make sure you tell me why you build a conversion dashboard, what did you do, what are the impacts, what are the why you decide to do this way, a lot of why you didn't do the other way. Make sure you know the whole story. Make sure it sounds like you build it, not your colleague build it and you steal the story. So think of details. Think of the things that the interviewer can ask you. Create an interview bank. This could be hard at the beginning, but you just slowly add in more, and at the end, if you apply to the same role, you can just reuse it. You just think, okay, if you are an interviewer, what kind of question you will ask, right? What's the insights you find? What is the last time you have a conflict? How did you solve it? How did you prepare for a club event? Or how do you, just put yourself in the shoe of a hiring manager, looking at this resume, what question can I ask? And then build your interview bank. And then do the mock interviews. Practice with your peers, and then also let them ask you the question that's outside your interview bank. Use their interview bank, because then you will have another person think of what additional question can I ask you, right? And then to prepare. For successful, for the interview, sometimes I go to 70% of the question I already guessed before the interview. There are 2 or 3 surprising ones, but because I prepared before I have the story, I kind of change a little bit and then can answer their question. So make sure you practice before. Of course, for data, practice your coding, and then search on LinkedIn for the interviewer and find some common topics. That is important because when I look for colleagues, when I look for my coworkers, I'm not just looking for someone who is good at technical. I need someone who I'm happy working with. That's a culture fit. So if you can find some common topic, have a nice conversation, that is also very important. During the interview, make sure you sound relaxed and energetic. Prepare some examples and pick the top 3 points or the example that you must mention. For example, you are a vice president of a student club, and that is something as a student right now you're the most proud of. You want to mention that experience, right? How do you mention that? For example, I prepared this experience. I want to mention it. They can ask me any question. They can ask me, what's the last time you have a conflict with someone, and then how did you solve it? Use some experience from your club. Just say, hey, when I serve as a VP of this club, something happened, blah, 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 right? So showcase your strengths. They can also ask you, tell me a leadership experience. Well, I was a VP of this student club, this is the experience, right? They can also tell you, ask you, basically, you need to prepare some story that's flexible enough. You can't prepare a story that can only answer one question. Then if they don't ask the question, then that's it. You prepare some question that's flexible, and you can tailor on the spot. And then very quickly answer the question using an example. So pick the top 3 of that. Top 3 highlights of your life so far that you want to mention in your interview. And then make it flexible. Practice practice. Try to each of them fit in like 3 to 5 questions. Then eventually they will ask you one quick question that you can use that example. And then after, send a thank you email. Some interviewer like that. I normally make my decision during the interview, so not really helpful for myself. But if someone I doubt culturally, and then they send a thank you email, I might double think. So if you have the time, send it. And then the most important is write down the question and answer, because like there are multiple stages of the interview. And then the interviewer do debrief after each interview. So after interviews, 3-4 of us are going to sit together. What example did this candidate tell me? Oh, they told me about the conversion rate. They also told me about the conversion. That's not good. That shows you just did one project, the conversion rate. So make sure you give various examples to various stage of the same company. Of course, you can reuse the example across the company. But how did you know which example you mentioned to which interviewer? Take notes. So take notes of what they asked and take notes about what you said. Often, there are also times when you accept more than one offer. Then you need to compare which one do I pick. Then you go back to your notes because you probably don't remember the first round. Go back to the notes and say, okay, did I like the hiring manager? What question did they ask? Do I like the coworker and stuff like that? It's always a two-way street. You pick the company pick you. So make sure you take your notes. If you're a quick note taker, you can take during the interview, but I'm not quick, so I take after the interview. Reflect on your notes and then see what you can do better next time. Let me quick check on the time. Okay, secure sponsorship. Admittedly, it is getting harder if you are an international student. I went through the CPT, OPT, and H1B sponsorship myself. It was easier when I graduated, but right now it's getting harder and harder because of the policy and stuff. So first, you have to filter for the company that do sponsor. So you probably don't have 100 companies to apply to. But there are always smaller companies that is harder to find. Like my company, we do sponsor, but we don't put on our website and advertise and put on every list. So probably it's harder for you to find smaller startup who do sponsor. It's easier to find Amazon or Google, right? It's not easier to find. So make sure you create a list. And then, but it takes time to generate the list. So that's what I realized at the end of my college time. You can get the list from earlier graduate, alumni, people who applied last year. They probably have the list, and then they probably have like a similar list. Ask several of them, combine the list. The company could be sponsored last year, but not this year. But it's a good starting point. So make sure you ask for the list, and then when you find internship. I know internship don't need sponsor, but it's always good to target a company who do offer return offer and sponsorship. Then you have a higher chance to just like get your feet in. Find a group. It's also important. You can get a list from alumni. You can get a list from your friends. Like the other friend who also like need sponsorship. They probably struggle with the same thing. Share the resource. Some people might say, okay, I share with them, then I have one more competitor. But it's not actually important because you have 100 other competitors. I think this one person doesn't really change your possibility. But if they share another company with you, another opportunity with you, then you double your chance, right? So share with your friends and prepare together. And then lastly, work hard, take more responsibility, learn as much as you can, because you do need to demonstrate your work, because the company does need to put in time to do the paperwork, the additional money. We have to show the value. For example, I got my return offer and the sponsorship. That first company that I was at, they never sponsored before. So I had to show my performance, and they find it valuable to even look into how to get this thing started. It's first time talking with a lawyer about this thing. They eventually sponsor me, which I really appreciate. So you need to demonstrate that you're good, and then don't be shy to ask for it. Some company they just never done before, they don't know. The paperwork side, they can talk with the, if you have more questions about sponsorship, feel free to talk with me later. I probably can share more. Okay, some keys to earlier career success. If you are already a working professional or you already have an internship, make sure you maintain the visibility with the leadership. That is very important, especially for early grads or like international students or women. We tend to hide behind our boss, and we tend to only have one-on-one with our manager. Try to be brave, have skip level with the director, with the head of, with the C level. They want to hear from people what you are doing and what's your challenge. right? Surprisingly, it's a two-way. They are probably busy, but you can schedule like instead of weekly, schedule a monthly, a quarterly. Just check in and show your work, demonstrate your work. It's very important because only when the leader knows your value, then it's easier to get promotion, to avoid layoffs. You have to show the value beyond just your direct leader. And that's also a way to get promoted, right? And then avoid being perfect. Avoid the perfect being the way of getting things done, especially for startup. We just need directional right data to make directional right decision. I don't need to be this number to be exactly right to 2 decimals, right? So bigger company, if they have a good data infrastructure, then it's probably like you can get things done pretty accurate, but make sure you double check the culture. Some companies do want directional data, but they need you to generate data quick. Golden projects. Make sure you have ownership of some high visibility projects. Try to associate that project with your name. For example, I had one of my experience there, they don't have a clean data set, they don't have a data dictionary. I pretty much like put together all the resources of the team, I built a data dictionary. And then at the end of year anniversary, those end of year parties, they call me Data Dictionary Tina. So like associate your name with that, and that is very important. When people look at this product, they know your name, and that's your value. Build connections with professionals, mentors, headhunter, seek out industry mentors and peers, and that's always important. Go to conference like that, talk with people like-minded, continue learning. I go to some panel in the morning, and someone say the second you step outside the college, you think that you want to learn more like yesterday. You're already like behind. So you always need to continue learning. And most of the things I use today come from self-learning in the industry. I'm not saying UCLA College didn't prepare me, but I learned how to learn at UCLA. I learned the statistics basics from UCLA, but I don't learn SQL, I don't learn Python, DBT. It's all from the job. Communication, presentation, public speaking, it's all from the job. How to deal with coworkers, politics, it's all from the job. So continue learning is very important. Take courses, take YouTube, talk with peers, learn from other people. There are lots of people who come from like big companies. They have good practice. And as a manager, if I want to do something that I don't know, I hire some expert to do it, and then the expert train the team, right? So always learn from coworker or from online. In your early career, prioritize learning opportunities. If someplace that you feel like you can learn a lot, it's probably more important than title and pay and other things that you're looking for. Of course, you do the work, you show your value, the pay and title should come. And if they don't come, you should just ask. It never hurt to ask. But like, if they don't, then build your experience 2-3 years. Then ask again. If they don't, then probably it's because like for example, the company already have a manager and you want to be promoted to a manager. They're not going to fire the other manager and to promote you, right? They don't need 2 managers. So look elsewhere. And then your title and pay will be adjusted in the next opportunity because you will show your value in your interview, right? So take on enough responsibilities, do the learning, put on your resume, craft your interview and stuff, then you will get what you deserve. All right, key takeaways. If you forget everything I talked about, 4 things. First, prioritize. This is something I haven't talked, but if you are in doing college or master program, there are 2 routes. One, going to industry, take a real life job, and second, pursue a graduate degree, go to another master or PhD. Well, I see people who try to do both at the same time. It's very hard to succeed in both. So pick one or at least prioritize one. Or if you decide to pursue the academic one, then you're in the wrong place. So yeah, first of all, prioritize. And second, again, take the internship. Make sure you start early. Take as many internship, externship. Talk with stakeholder. Have coffee chats with what's they called? Like informational interview, or like those are not actual interview, but let's say if you want to talk with me, we schedule a coffee chat, I would just like give you a mock interview and stuff like that. Those are also important with the professionals. Don't be discouraged. I got my first internship after applying to over 100 positions, so it's pretty common. Pause and reflect on your conversion rate. What else can you improve? And we're hiring. So we're hiring for both full-time roles and internships, both for data and outside of data. We do offer sponsorship, and that is our career page, meshy.ai/careers.